my name is Andrea. This is the first video to a series in which I'm teaching you how to begin crocheting. So this is very much for beginners with the hopes that this is just a foundation for you to continue to be creative with this lovely craft. I write right-handed, so I will be holding my crochet hook in my right hand. However, I have discovered there's some people who feel more comfortable crocheting with their left hand, even if that's not their dominant, and vice versa. Find your own comfort with this. That's really the biggest learning curve, is just that confidence that comes with your comfortability in this. And so for my foundational chain, I first have to create a slip knot. So I typically create a ribbon shape in which I have my tail hanging over top, and then I fold this over so that I can now see the hook placed over top of, or excuse me, the circle, the opening placed over top of the longer length of yarn. And then when I grab that and pull it up, if I keep yanking a little bit or even pull this tail, it will then cinch around the hook. Now, because it's a slip knot, I can pull that out and just let it go back to being a full string. So my tail goes over top, fold down, and grab the string that feeds to the ball of yarn. Now I'll cinch it just a little bit. I don't want it to be too snug because this is, again, my foundational chain. So this is just very much, once you get comfortable with this, you'll see some tightness or some looseness that you want to correct even in this segment. So it doesn't mean, even though it is foundational, it doesn't mean that you can't tear it out and start over with that. So comfort as far as holding it. However, you have usually some type of flat part of your hook, or you have some type of texture in a lot of these too. Again, find what works best for you. But a lot of people will feed the yarn in such different ways through their non-dominant hand. But that non-dominant hand, I promise you, is very helpful in all of these stitches as well. So for me, I loop it through my pinky, and then I end up using a series of loops through my hand in order to feed that yarn. So you can see you just kind of feed through there, and that helps me keep a little bit of tension. I know plenty of people who do it various ways. Some will just rest it here and pinch this direction, but notice how I am keeping a little bit of tension so I can grab from it a little bit easier. So once you find your holding, I typically will then use these back fingers and my thumb to hold this. Your foundational chain goes like this. You are simply grabbing the yarn. You could twist this way. I usually find going the opposite helps, but you're getting a hold of that yarn from the ball and you're pulling it back through the loop. And then what you've done is you've created another new extension or chain or loop on that hook, and I repeat. So I grab that and I pull up. Now here you could get really tight and you can get really loose. So you want to try to be consistent. And so knowing that you're going to go back and work through this, you still need to have room to puncture or to penetrate those loops for future stitches. A lot of your instructions will say chain so many, chain 10, chain 20, and that will end up being the length of the project or the portion of the pattern that you're working with. These fingers are continuously working up this chain. If they were all the way back here and I'm trying to grab yarn from it, still holding on, it would just be a really awkward bend to the hand, and you wouldn't be able to sustain that for very long. So I'm also creeping up that chain as I'm adding new stitches. You could make a chain 100 long. I think this is a great beginning practice just for pure comfort and just for concept. I'm taking a loop, I'm gathering another loop and pulling it through, and this is how I gain more. And that is all crochet is. It's just a series of loops that are looped within existing loops and then tied off in the end. And then you're just looking for a consistent chain like so. If you find some frustrating parts, maybe one looks a little small, one looks a little big, they rip right out. But if you don't want to go all the way to the beginning, you just stop where there's an existing loop and you can pick right back up. So gather it, pull it through. Gather it, pull it through. And that's it, my friends. That is how you create a crochet chain.